this wonderful seminar. And really, I am very much thankful to Association of International Dentistry Pakistan that they have right from the first day till today, they've been very constantly arranging all these seminars, and these seminars were actually precipitated by the sharing of many people, like the main International College of Dentists, then the Dental News, then obviously Association of International Dentistry, and side by side it is being potentiated by the Pakistan Dental Association Chakwal, Pakistan Dental Association Faisalabad, Pakistan Dental Association Gujranwala, as well as Pakistan Dental Association Lahore. I am thankful to all of them, and especially to the main organizer of this whole session, that is Dr. Rehan from the chief of the Association of International Dentistry. Thank you very much, Dr. Ryan, and thank you everyone for joining this last session. And we are going to describe this last session, especially with reference to our surgical uh, uh, intervention. We have covered medical details of the medical treatment. We have covered the injectable therapy which we used to give to our patients. Then we covered the peripheral procedure, that is peripheral neurectomies, last time in orbital, inferior alveolar, and mental neurectomies. These are the procedure which are being done generally by the oral and maxillofacial surgeon, but to some extent, sometime a general practitioner can interfere only up to the limited to infraorbital or a mental neurectomy. I will never prefer that they should go ahead for the inferior alveolar neurectomy, and no doubt I have given the detail of the procedures in my previous video. Today we are going to start with the intracranial procedure. The first intracranial procedure, before going to start with the detail of the intracranial procedure, one therapy which was left last time, that was the cryotherapy. It is also used intracranially, as well as it is cryotherapy is used periphery as well. You open the peripheral nerve and you can apply the cryotherapy in peripheral nerve as well. And especially with reference to intracranial procedure, I will describe in detail. For the peripheral procedure, it is very simple. I'm just, you can see that on my left side, a cryoprobe is, we are inserting the cryoprobe in the mental nerve. The gentleman called Bernard first time in 1981 used the treatment especially for the peripheral cryoneurolysis. It is very easy that you identify the affected nerve and then expose to the cryoprobe. Cryoprobe end is so cold that it frees the uh, nerve, especially peripheral sheets. But the beauty of the cryoprobe is that it do not hurt the myelin sheet. It only hurt the nerve fibers. So when we are treating with the delta fibers, which has the myelin sheet as well, we protect the myelin sheet and we do not hurt the myelin sheet, and we just go for the freezing of the affected nerve fiber. And that is very beautifully done, that without disturbing the aesthetic effect of the nerve ending, we used to freeze the nerve ending. Now that is the direct application at the minus 60 degrees centigrade, and what you see, it is the Warrian degeneration without destroying the nerve sheet itself. You expose the nerve, place the cryoprobe for approximately 2 minutes. and then you stop the applying the cryoprobe and wait for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, which is called as the thaw cycle or the rest cycle. After the thaw cycle, you repeat again the freezing of the nerve at the same point. Then you give thaw cycle for another 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes, you again repeat 2 minutes freezing, and that results to the complete lytic activity by the freezing of the nerve ending, and you get rid of the trigeminal neuralgia episode. For this is a sign of interrogation how much period the cryotherapy effect. Our very learned professor Riaz Wadaich has done his thesis on cryotherapy, and he has written this thesis in approximately 10-15 years back, more than that rather, and he proved that the cryotherapy is very effective in the peripheral nerve, and it do give the result. These that cryoprobes is used in a very less center, but yet it is a very promising what you say therapy. Now next, which is also talk of the town, that is the use of the soft laser. This is a very interesting chapter, that now the cryo probes, laser probes, they are available. There are many probes which are available in the market. What does the laser probe do? Actually, the laser therapy in which the energy output is low, so that the temperature of the body never rises more than 36.5 degrees centigrade. That means it is the normal body temperature. Whatever the soft laser you apply to the skin or to the trigger zone, it never rise the temperature of the body. That means that the promising effect of the laser is there. So after you apply the soft laser, it is a very interesting experiment, that you apply the cryo probe on the balloon. Even you apply it for the hours, it is not going to burst the balloon at all. And that is the actually test of the soft laser, that how it do not disturb and never rises the heat of the body. There are so many cryo probes, sorry, laser probes which are available. That is gallium, aluminium arsenide, helium neon, diode, metal vapor plasma laser, titanium sapphire, and titanium aluminum trioxide, and last is the liquid lasers. The most commonly is the diode laser or gallium aluminum arsenide. These are the available lasers, and these are applied on the surface of the tragal zone, and it is called as that they enhance the repair which is lost by the trigeminal what you say, the peripheral nerve sheet. It's used to repair that. But how it repaired? It repaired by the increase of the ATP generation at the mitochondria level. The mitochondria, it used to increase the metabolism and increase the ATP in the cells of the new nerve effective zone, and it helped the repair of the nerve sheet. This is what the philosophy behind the soft laser therapy is. Actually, these are the three steps which are for your reference, that the initial stages, they are just the displacement of the electron out of its orbit, which makes the molecule very reactive. On the second, if you go on placing the nerve probe, laser probe right there, it starts transferring molecule to the higher vibrational energy level. And if yet you keep on the laser probe right on the target point, it transfers the molecule to more higher rotational and vibrational energy level. That results into more giving the energy to the mitochondria, more generation of the ATP, and more reference to the repair of the sheet of the nerve which is being damaged by anemia. So generally the phototherapy or laser therapy has the effect as an anti-inflammatory, it promotes the healing, and it gives the relief of the pain. So we use the gallium aluminum arsenide laser mostly in trigeminal neuralgia. We apply the 1 joule for the acute and 2 joules for the chronic pain. And this is just on the tender point. By the trigger point, we use to 0.5 to 0.5 to 1 joule in the chronic, and 0.5 to joules in the acute phase. These are just the reference with reference to the soft laser therapy on the trigeminal. There are many studies, and there one my own published studies there, and it do give the good result, but it need a very expert therapist for the laser, who is well aware of the joules, well aware of the anatomical position, and well aware of the use of the laser on the site of the trigger point and on the side of the what you say tender points. That is the very important thing. So that is the soft laser use. Now, next surgical procedure which we used to do is the stereostatic thermocoagulation of the ganglion. This is a very interesting, and most center in the world they are using it. Or it is how we use this stereostatic thermocoagulation, especially for the ganglion. It is, you see, there are multiple layers of the high energy photons, that means light energy, concentrated with the absolute accuracy on the target of the trigeminal root. That is, this whole area, it is generating the photon, and with this calibration we adjust the head and fix the head, that the patient should not move the head during therapy. This can be used to destroy the specific component of the nerve, and the source is cobalt 60. Ladies and gentlemen, it is being applied with the help of a very good stereostatic, what is called gamma knife. Patient head frame is fixed with a colorimeter which is focused at 201 gamma rays, and that is being generated and focused at the level of the trigeminal nerve, and this results into neural lysis at the level of the trigeminal ganglion. Very important, very specific neurolysis, and especially with a very expert hand required for the this neurolysis. And this is a specific what you say technology. We have one center in Karachi which is using the stereostatic radiosurgery in their center for the neurolysis of the trigeminal ganglion. Now we are going to intracranial procedure. This cranial procedure, first we will go for all the procedure, not absolutely opening the cranium, just going to the cranium by different means. The first thing is penetrating to the surgical ganglion by intracranial procedures, that is the Gasserian ganglion procedure. The first procedure we will use the percutaneous rhizotomy. You see, the area which we are going to treat is right here. And we used to perform this percutaneous rhizotomy mechanically or chemically, we used to penetrate from here to the ganglion to the root level and would damage the either that particular part of the ganglion or that particular part of the nerve of that trigeminal nerve. Especially, it is very promising for the mandibular nerve,
Collision, we say
especially when
collisions.
you enter the foramen ovale. And that is the how we enter the foramen ovale. The foramen ovale is best visualized with the X-ray tube placed
हम कर
on
ही
the
देते,
submental
कटिंग
vertex
भी कर देते,
position,
दवाई तो खानी
like
है
that.
इसने, कटिंग भी कर देते साहब। तो मैं आपको पहले
Infiltration
भी
of
कह
the skin and cheek is
रहा आप जो
done
है ना
with a local anesthetic
वो
agent on the affected side. It
लाइट
is
को पीछे ना
one
पड़ा
to
था,
three point, which
लाइट
is
को
called
का आपको
the
ये मतलब
Hurter's points.
बाकी
These
पिछले दाड़ों
three
में जो है
Hurter
ना
points are being
कामयाब
marked,
नहीं,
and by these three
तो
Hurter
कहते
points, we
पेन
reach to
बहुत
the
होता है,
Gasserian
मैं उसको
ganglion. How
नीचे
these
आप
are marked?
कवरिंग को
The
हाँ
first
ऐसे
point,
टाइप आप करोगे
Hurter, a
पेन हो जाता है।
perpendicular line is
ये
drawn
पहले भी
from
कही
the lateral orbital
यहाँ
root
पे
to the
जितनी करो पेन
inferior border of the mandible like this.
यहाँ पे उसको अमेरिकन
This
करो हाँ
lateral border of the
तो
range
आपने
to
जो
the
चीज कर दी है
inferior
उसको
border
कर
of
दो
the
आप उसको कुछ नहीं होना।
mandible. This is the number one line.
किसी
The
जड़ों में आप
second
वो
point,
देखिए ये लाइट को ना
mark at the
तो जब तक
15 mm
है
later to
उसका
the angle of the
यहाँ
mouth
थोड़ी बहुत फीलिंग
on
हो
the
हल्की फुल्की
perpendicular to
उसकी
first
तरफ
line.
करनी जो
This
जरा
is the
गहरी
angle
हो ना
of the
बैंकिंग
mouth.
तक
We
उसमें
make
इरिटेशन
one
कर
point
देता
here
है पेशेंट
perpendicular
पीछे
to her,
सर
and
पकड़ के
that is
बैठता
the meeting point. That is approximately 15 mm right from the angle of the mouth here and perpendicular down from the lateral canthus of the eye. The third point is
ये जो है
mark at the
दिया आपने
level of the
देखी
TMJ
परसों
2.5 centimeter from the center of external auditometer. This is external
वो
auditometers,
हमने मंगवाई नहीं,
that
वो
is the
आपने ऐसी मेरी पैकिंग
TMJ,
करी है कि
and
उसको
we
पता ही नहीं था
make
ना आपने
this
बताया मेरे
point
को वो
right
भी है
here. It is
वो डालने का
approximately
ऐसा लगा दिया
2.5
भी
mm
मैं
from
कितों
the
आ गई
temporomandibular joint.
Hello.
These 3 points are marked. This
Hello.
point is especially very
उसको
good
पता ही नहीं था
with
वो भी
reference to the foramen ovale
ठीक
location.
है आपको उसमें वो
And
नहीं
that is the needle which we are inserting right from here, and going to this point with reference to this extra oral point. How we mark it? For that purpose, we have these 3 points, and with these 3 points, first thing we are going to insert, that is the percutaneous glycerol. Glycerol we have already discussed with reference to the peripheral neurolysis, and now we are going to inject the anhydrous glycerol to the foramen ovale, and that is the same procedure. You give the anhydrosis, and there is a lysis of the nerve root by the dehydration. The advantages of this glycerol technique is that it is very simple technique, lower incidence of anesthesia dolorosa, that it involves whole of the nerve, post-operative headache, nausea, and vomiting sometimes reported. Vomiting, meningitis, post-operative herpes simplex perioralis is sometime available because sometime in the ganglion there is a herpes simplex virus is present, and when you insert the needle in the foramen ovale, is used to come out by means of this needle. The second method, which is used by these all three house points, is by the control radio frequency thermocoagulation. When it is used, when there is toxicity of the drugs, you cannot use the drug anymore. Failure of the response of the other modalities like cryoprobe, like peripheral neurectomies, yeah, or anything which is not available. Then you go for the radio frequency thermocoagulation. Dependent on the drug for a long time, you are fed up from the drug that I cannot use the carbamazepine or other drugs. The police do anything else. then very elderly patient and especially medically compromised patient, this is very simple technique. Just it is very simple that you must give the local anesthesia and then you insert this uh, the probe of the thermocoagulation at the level of the foramen ovale, and that is the very simple means, and you go for the thermocoagulation. Patient is sedated with a short-acting sedative and vital signs are monitored. Then you introduce the electrode and insert it from the cheese under the fluoroscopy to the foramen ovale, and the patient is awakened briefly, accurately, and rotate position. I just give you the again. This is the insertion of thermocoagulation, neither under the fluoroscope. No, you are inserting the probe right there in the Gasserian ganglion. This is probe inserted there, and you see, then you wait for the effect, and after the effect you monitor all the vital signs, and this is the way how you go for the photothermocoagulation. The advantages are comparative low reoccurrence, zero mortality because it is just done under the control fluorescent scope. Thermocoagulation preserves the motor function of the trigeminal nerve and can avoid the major surgical procedure, just entering of the probe into the foramen ovale. Disadvantage is anesthesia dolorosa, that anesthesia of the nerve for the long period. Loss the corneal reflex sometime. The accessory nerves are affected, and if the nerve of the ophthalmic area is affected, then loss of the corneal reflex is there, and sometimes, very rare, is the meningitis. Now, the same procedure by this mean is the percutaneous balloon. That is, that this mechanical means of the destruction of the trigeminal nerve is introduced in 1980 by the Moulin and Lister. First, the Fogarty catheter is introduced with the fluoroscope guidance. 0.7 mm balloon is inflated for 1 to 2 minutes, which results into lytic activity of the nerve. It is like this. That is the cannula you entered here. That is the balloon which is inflated. You see, this is balloon. This you inserted the inside, and that is the catheter with the balloon. And here you inflame the balloon, and that resulted into pressure lytic activity. Now, you see, this is the procedure which is right here, that you inserted the balloon in the trigeminal gastron area, you inflate it and inflate it approximately for the 4 to 5 minutes, and this results into a separation of the vessels from the nerve, and that is the very good compression on the nerve. You see, this needle is going on right there, same position. You insert it in the brain like here, and you here inflame the balloon, and that is the percutaneous balloon compression. The very expertise are required here to manipulate this balloon at the Gasserian ganglion level. Now, the last is the neurovascular decompression, which is very, very famous, and it is lost, what you say, the only procedure we use to perform. It is also called as the Janetta's procedure, or open procedure, or open intracranial procedure. Approximately in 1976, Janita's first done it, and most common intracranial procedure. A root is examined, direct examined under the microscope. This is the mastoid area, and you give right here the incision, and from here you open the cranium and you reach at the level of the Gasserian ganglion, or sometime in the root area, especially where the vessel is crossing. Then the nerve is freed, and from the pulsating artery like this. This is the pulsating artery, petrosal artery. You separate it and you place these small sponges of the Teflon in between the vessel and the nerve. It is like this. You place this sheet right here, and the nerve, which is being compressed by these vessel, it is being isolated by placing of these pads over the trigeminal nerve, and that is the artery which is being separated. It is like this. This is the vessel, this is the nerve, and you place a sponge right here, and that results into separation of the vessel from the nerve, and that is called Janeta's procedure. Ladies and gentlemen, we have described approximately trigeminal neuralgia with every respect, starting right from the anatomy of the trigeminal nerve, coming to the uh, pathophysiology of the trigeminal neuralgia, then coming to the etiology of the trigeminal neuralgia, then covering all the different diseases which affects the intracranial, extracranial, terminal areas of the trigeminal nerve for causing the trigeminal neuralgia. Then we have gone for the diagnosis of the trigeminal neuralgia. We have gone for the different methodologies for the trigeminal neuralgia diagnosis. Then we have gone for the investigation which are properly required for the trigeminal neuralgia final diagnosis. Ladies and gentlemen, this is also very important to understand that after the diagnosis, we have covered of approximately 5 to 6 lectures for the treatment of trigeminal neuralgia. We covered the medical aspect with reference to drug. Then we have covered all the different therapies and how many therapies they are available for the treatment of trigeminal neuralgia. Then we have gone for the interventional therapies, in which we cover the injectable therapy. Then we have gone for the peripheral neurectomies in detail. We cover all the neurectomy, infoorbital, mental, inferior alveolar neurectomy, and they are all different procedures we have gone in detail. Then we have gone for the intracranial procedure. First, we cover the intracranial procedure with the needle by the fluoroscopy. These needles with the percutaneous rhizotomy with reference to Gasserian ganglion. That we go for the glycerol injection. Then we have got the thermoneurolysis by the thermocoagulation. We have then used to use the gamma rays, gamma thermoneurolysis, and then we have gone for the balloon compression. And after the balloon compression, we have gone in detail with the intracranial procedure, what is called as the Janeta's procedure. That is the open cranial procedure, placing the Teflon fibers or sheet in between the nerve and the vessel, and that is the last procedure, intracranial procedure, which we have described. Ladies and gentlemen, this approximately 2.5 month long episode of the trigeminal neuralgia, we have today finalized it, and I am very happy that many of you has participated in bulk, and these all my lectures are available on the YouTube as well. on the site of Association of International Dentistry. You can learn from there as well. I'm really thankful to the organizers, especially to the chief organizer, that is the uh, um, chief executive of the Association of International Dentistry, and then the International College of Dentists, that they have permitted us to use their slogan in this very big seminar. Then especially to the Dental News, which has propagated our whole this seminar for 2.5 months in their publication, and to all the association, especially I will refer to Pakistan Dental Association Chakwal, Gujranwala, Faisalabad and Lahore for their great contribution. Rehan, I'm really very much thankful to you. It is over to you. If there is any question, I'm here to answer. Thank you very much. Dr. Rehan.
Yes, sir. Sorry, my mic was muted.
Dr. Rehan, are you there?
Yes, yes. Hello.
And if anybody has the question, you are welcome to ask me any question, please. Yes. Dr. Rehan, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. If anyone has any question, you can ask Dr. Rashid. He will answer you. You can mute
Dr. Rehan.
yourself as well.
There's a last portion of this lecture is sometime a rare procedure, which is trigeminal root resection is there. These are the three procedures: extradural sensory root resection, intradural rhizotomy, and trigeminal tarectomy. The extradural sensory root resection is also known as subtemporal extradural retrogastrinal rhizotomy. Can you hear me now? Yeah, this is the last portion which I am dealing. That is the after that, this is the root trigeminal root resection. Just 1 minute left, and after that we have the answer and question answer session. Trigeminal root resection is the last portion. We have the three extradural root resection, intradural rhizotomy, and trigeminal tarectomy. Extradural, it is actually limited to the sensory root resection. It is approach is slightly different than that of the open rhizotomy. It is a subtemporal extradural retrogression rhizotomy. It is a very vast procedure. A wide portion of the cranium is being opened, so that may result into severe consequences. That is why these days it is not used. The sensory root is divided, sparing the motor root, and it is very near to the brain stem, and which is a very difficult surgery, and generally now it is omitted. The second procedure is intradural rhizotomy. Intradural rhizotomy, it is an intradural procedure which is done when the pain reoccurs after microvascular decompression. This is also a very vast cranial procedure, and generally done in the posterior cranial fossa. And it is a very selective procedure, and very expert neurosurgeon is required. A trigeminal tracheotomy is that it is also known as the medullary tracheotomy. This tracheotomy is not usually done. It is also a very vast procedure. You have to dissect the tract of the trigeminal nerve, and at the level of the craniomedullary region, which is a very sensitive region, and very expert person is required, especially neurosurgeon, to perform this neurotracheotomy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for all the trigeminal neuralgia, uh, what you say, a whole series for the 3 years. uh, and we've been working on this 3 years for complete profiling for the trigeminal, what you say, making of a full episode, and that has taken up over 3 months to display it to you. And we have tried, these are approximately 4,500 slides which we have displayed during these 3 months, 2.5 months, and we have covered every aspect of trigeminal neuralgia, right starting from the trigeminal nerve development, trigeminal nerve and anatomy, till to the trigeminal nerve root rhizotomy of the brain stem with reference to treatment. I'm really very much thankful to all of you, and especially to the main organizer, Dr. Rehan, for the International Association Dentistry, to all my sponsors, especially Dental News, International College of Dentists, the Dental Association of Chakwal, Faisalabad, Vinawala, and Lahore. It is over to Dr. Rehan for answer and session question, if there is anyone. Ji Rehan, it is over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arshad, for your awesome lecture over management of trigeminal neuralgia. It was around 3 session, and then there was all about many sessions as well back. We will have a quiz also after 1 week, inshallah, from trigeminal neuralgia course, and those who will qualify 75% scores in this quiz, they will be awarded with certificate as well. And if anyone has any question from whole trigeminal neuralgia series, you can ask now. Thank you so much, Dr. You all can unmute yourself as well. If you want to ask any question directly or indirectly, you can put in chat box as well.
I'm very happy that my dear friend Dr. Nayan Lin is with me. How are you, Dr. Nayan? Can you unmute yourself? And it is very promising that Dr. Nayan is with us. Dr. Nayan. Can you unmute yourself? Yes. I can listen to you, Dr. Nayan.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Very thank you for your informative lectures, Professor.
Yeah,
If
I'm listening there.
if there is a complication of the loss of sensation, what's the conservative means? Your options. What's the conservative procedures for the recovery of the sensation?
Actually, that is not possible at all, because when you cut the nerve
Oh,
root, when you cut the nerve root, or when you go for the gangrene intracranial procedure or lytic
yeah.
activity, the regeneration of the nerve is not possible. And when
Oh,
you put the damage to the nerve root anywhere in the peripheral neurectomy, intracranial procedure, or by any rhizotomy, that is a irreversible procedure, that you cannot have any type of recovery.
yeah. In mild cases and moderate cases, which one is your favorite treatment plan?
Actually, first we will learn, we will prefer that we should go only and only for the medicine. This whole my lecture is present on the Association of International Dentistry. At
Yeah,
the YouTube, you can have the full lecture. That
yeah,
first and the main thing is manage the patient with medicine, with the
yeah,
carbamazepine and with additional medicine. These
yeah,
all other procedure, by giving the neurolysis or by giving the glycerol injection or performing the peripheral neurectomy, I will prefer, always I will prefer that avoid all these procedure and maximum do the procedure maximum when these all medicine are failed. So because these
yeah,
procedure, whenever you do it, these are irreversible procedure. Whenever you
yeah.
do any neurolysis, you are going to have the paresthesia and anesthesia whole the life.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much. I can
Thank
see
you.
Salima.
Yeah.
I can see Salima, my very good lady from Malaysia. Hi, Salima,
Yeah.
how are you?
Mhm.
Dr. Salima. Dr. Salima, how are you?
Malaysia dia go the corner Dr. Selma drill.
Dr. Salima. Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Salima? Dr. Salima, are you listening?
Yes.
Assalamu
Hello.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Professor Arshad Malik.
It's a very pleasure to see you here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the very nice lecture.
Yeah, it was very promising to see you here. I have seen you many times in Malaysia during my live lectures with reference to different conferences. That this time I have seen that Salima is here in webinar with me as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. Thank you.
Salma, if you have any question.
No, no question yet.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. With my regard to Dr. Haukam Chan and other people in Malaysia, they are very nice people. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu
Thank
alaikum.
you. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, any person like to have any question, he can ask me.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Dr. Shumaila Basit, one of your students, and from Demon
Shamaila, how
Morenci.
are you?
I'm
Shamaila,
fine. I'm fine, sir. Thank you so much. I'm your student from Demont College, and now I'm doing MSc in Oral Medicine from Islamabad Medical and Dental College.
Oh, it's pleasure. It's pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much, sir. I am following all of your lectures, and they are very much informative, and they serve as a guide to me. And you are my mentor. I always follow all of your lectures in detail, and it's nice to see you. Thank you so much, sir. I have
Thank
just
you so much.
I just wanted to know the details about the quiz so that I could also participate in it.
Yeah, sure. This Association of International Dentists has recently make this seminar and we have got the permission to issue you the certificate, and this all I think that this AID will soon issue the schedule of examination to get you the certificate. I can see this Dr. Said Saidullah Khatak.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, bete. Ji Said. सईद आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही बेटे.
जी सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Yes.
जी सर, अभी कनेक्ट हुआ सर.
या थोड़ी सी अब आ रही है आवाज, थोड़ी और ऊंचे नजदीक कर लो अपनी.
जी सर, अभी कनेक्ट हुआ हूँ जी.
जी, thank you Said for joining and listening to the seminar.
Thank you जी. Thank you sir.
You have any question regarding to trigeminal neuralgia?
Sir, I think you completed, huh?
Thank you very much. Thank you Said, thank you very much.
Thank you जी. Welcome sir.
Thank you. If any person has the question, he can ask freely whether a diagnosis or anything else. I can see Dr. Muzina is there. Dr. Muzina, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Yes, Dr. Rehan, if there is any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I think that there is no any more question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arshad, for your awesome lectures over trigeminal neuralgia series. We had a good time with you, alhamdulillah. And this session will be uploaded on YouTube after 2 days, inshallah. And within in 1 week, there will be a quiz as well of this course. Whoever scores 75% will be awarded with certificates. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. You
So
just
much, Dr.
display
Arshad.
the your website and other thing for the people that they can appear in your examination. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care, sir.